En route from Peking to Tianjin, we passed through an intensively cultivated region. Crops here were corn and sorghum. As we neared the city, increasing signs of recent industrial growth. Tianjin is a sprawling city of over 2 million. Located 70 miles southeast of Peking, it is a major industrial and transportation center. We drove through streets crowded with pedicabs and carts. Groups of students and office workers practicing for the National Day parade. The city gave every appearance of rapid growth. New sewer pipes in the city's outskirts. I also saw many new buildings in this section. This is Ha Qian, director of a plant which made paper from lu grass. Workers at this plant designed and built the paper-making machinery. They were also building a little furnace for the leap forward. The furnace was on the plant premises. The workers were still building it. And they couldn't wait to charge it. Just to help in the liberation of Taiwan, they expected to make 14 tons of steel daily in this furnace. These women winding copper wire belong to a neighborhood co-op of 380 families. In communist China, they are considered to be emancipated from housework to support socialist construction. This co-op was part of a much larger commune of 12,000 households. Communal cooking saved coal, which was used for the leap forward. The commune had its own nursery. Mothers took turns looking after children. This little boy was singing about the leap forward. This old man was angry over Taiwan. The co-op maintained a home for the aged. I visited some of the rooms occupied by old people like this woman with bound feet. Quarters were neat and clean with whitewashed walls. I stopped at a park just outside the city. I visited the Tianjin Second Worker Sanatorium. Completed in 1955, the buildings were in the Chinese style. The hospital has 800 beds. Patients organize their own entertainment. All workers in Tianjin are eligible. Patients attend classes. These girls are knitting as they walk in the gardens. Treatment is for mild cases only and lasts 3 to 6 months. South of Tianjin was the Xuanlin State Farm, one of the few in communist China. Everyone exercises at 10 o'clock. This was at the rear of the headquarters. Indoctrination lectures are part of all communist programs. Chinese are subjected to constant propaganda. This was formerly swampland. Now they reported getting good production. At nearby Xinli village, they were experimenting with rice. Irrigation here was fairly advanced. These water wheels were run by a 15 horsepower motor. visitors come to see the experimental plot where they are working with hybrid rice seeds. They are so proud of it they even have their own cameraman. They have bamboo poles to keep the rice from trampling. Lights have been installed to keep it growing 24 hours a day. This is the rice they claim is yielding 11,000 bushels an acre. It was raining in Nanjing when I arrived. The narrow streets appeared little changed, but I learned that Nanjing's population had swelled from just under 1 million in 1949 to 2.5 million. Industrial expansion was behind this growth. Truck and auto parts were piled high in the yard of the Nanjing auto plant. 3 years ago, this plant was making wagons. Now it is turning out trucks and a few cars. Machinery is Chinese, Czech, and Russian. They were cutting these plastic strips to be used in making small cars. This is Chikang. He is the plant manager. 4,000 workers on a primitive assembly line. Many are women. And on the plant grounds, a small furnace was also turning out steel for parts. For the leap forward. Down the Yangtze to the Nanjing chemical factory, where 10,000 workers turn out fertilizers and commercial chemicals. We could see the factory as we approached. Workers at this plant had built 80 small furnaces on the plant grounds. Posters with anti-American and Taiwan themes were linked with the leap forward production. This was a Buddhist temple. Within its confines is the shrine of the 10,000 Buddhas. 50 priests take care of the temple and conduct services. This priest told me that quite a few people still worship at the temple. I arrived at the Catholic Church just as Mass ended. It was the only Catholic church in the city. The priest told me that there were 200 or 300 people in the parish. The Sun Yat-sen tomb. It is Nanjing's most prominent communist shrine. Rice paddies and water buffalo on the way to Shanghai. It had rained hard and the rice was beaten down. Some of the rice was green, some ready for harvest. Shanghai Bund, the famous waterfront with modern buildings. The communists have built a park along the Wangpo. Construction in the city everywhere for the leap forward. The Sino-Soviet Friendship Building, a cultural center to further the common bond between the two communist giants. Like Peking, traffic streamed through the streets. I passed many factories. I was on my way to visit a fountain pen plant. I was greeted by the manager, Chi Fung Lu. Pens made here, called Hero, were modeled on the Parker 51. Catch up with Parker was the plant slogan. I saw many young workers and students here. This was Chung Kan-chu. He is saying, get American troops out of Taiwan. This is the Longmachong-chen Commune. Here, 586 workers from 385 families cultivate about 600 acres of vegetables. Militiamen to guard the commune gates. There was some mechanization on this commune, but most of the work was done by hand. Tractors were used for deep plowing. They reported 7 to 21 crops of vegetables a year. Compost and fertilizer, both animal and human, was used in this intensive cultivation. Many kinds of vegetables were raised. They also had an experimental plot where they were trying out new irrigation. Corn was raised and used for feed. The commune reported grossing $270,000 worth of products in 1957. Poultry of all kinds was raised. Chickens near an old pillbox, reminder of the Japanese occupation. Busy streets and busy days in central China's Tri-City area, Hankou, Xinyang, Wuchang, together called Wuhan. In the 4th district of Wuhan, a big new steel plant was under construction. When completed, it will rival Anshan. Workers swarmed on the grounds underneath wooden scaffolding. They dug and shoveled. They pounded and tamped. Ore is shipped in 60 miles by railroad. It is unloaded automatically in the plant yards. Cars are placed on a turnover. Then over she goes. Steel making went on inside the plant while construction continued outside. Their goal was 3.5 million tons of steel a year by 1961. To catch up with Britain, heavy machinery at the plant was furnished by the Soviet Union, and near the plant these new workers' apartments. "40 miles from Hankou, a new engineering college had been built on land once used for farming. Here, 7,500 students were taught steelmaking and mechanical and electrical engineering, following communist policy of learning and labor. Classrooms are run like factory shops, and under the leap forward, students built lathes and electric motors. Students are also sent to villages to help with technical problems. Purpose of all education in communist China is to build socialism." The Wuhan meat processing plant, also built with Soviet help. Hogs are shipped to this plant from Hubei province, killed with electric shock. 3,000 workers use up-to-date equipment. Here they are cutting the hogs up with an electric saw. Bladders are used in packing sausages. 40% of this production goes to the Soviet Union, en route to the Sichuan. On this people's commune, there are over 60,000 who cultivate about 30,000 acres of cotton, rice, and wheat. They claim production almost doubled in this two-crop region after the organization of the commune. Commune farms challenge each other, and everyone is organized for production. On this experimental plot, they claimed they were producing 1,000 catties of cotton per acre. This was an increase of approximately 800% over pre-commune days. Young children of working mothers are cared for at the commune nursery school. Older children work on the commune where they set their own production goals. The commune was building its own furnaces. They intended to build 5 small factories to produce 8,000 tons of steel a year for commune implements and equipment. The commune also operated its own ore and coal mines. These men and boys were pounding ore. They sifted and shoveled coal, getting ready to charge the furnaces. Students of the commune middle school had their own furnace. Nearby was a larger one belonging to the commune. Workers were enthusiastic. They said they were working to accelerate socialism, working for the leap forward and against American aggression. Here one team works on the bellows, another charges the furnace. This was the new bridge across the Yangtze. Opened in 1957, this steel truss bridge has a highway on the upper deck, a railway below. A Chinese junk blown gently before the warm South China wind, the smell of the river, and the creaking of the oarlocks of the river sampans, the voices of the people who live on them. This was the old Canton. Under the communists, Canton hummed with leap-forward activity. Famed because it was once the home of Sun Yat-sen, Canton is known as the City of Revolutions. From the top of the 14-story Oi Kwan Hotel, the Pearl River, once jammed with boats, was comparatively empty. The houseboats were still used to carry passengers and cargo. Baskets of fruit piled for shipment. Surrounding Guangdong province is a rich breadbasket, and Canton is also the center of an extensive light industry. On the waterfront, incessant activity, constantly changing. This little boy wears a K-Pop life preserver. Playing along the waterfront, he may fall into the water, and if he does, the sack will keep him afloat. Excitable and talkative Cantonese are far different from the North Chinese. My interpreter had difficulty in understanding the 3 commonly spoken Cantonese dialects. Under the communists, this colorful waterfront life has changed drastically. Many of the sampan people are being forced to move and live ashore, where the communists can better control them. Buses ran to the suburbs. I visited a commune on which vegetables were raised. It was in the wide-flung agricultural section surrounding Canton. This is a 2-crop-a-year region. A boy and a water buffalo. A familiar sight. He is spreading manure by hand. Here, cabbage plants are sprinkled with night soil. All work here was done by hand. Sowing seeds in China's good earth. The farms here did not look as though they were ready for mechanization. It was difficult to believe that the small plots would lend themselves to the use of machinery. Here, hand labor would probably always remain at a premium. It is less than 100 miles from Canton to Hong Kong. In the new territories outside Hong Kong, the landscape is like that of Guangdong. Water buffalo and men and women working in rice fields. It was raining when I reached the border checkpoint. I had to walk a couple of 100 yards and wait at the border station a couple of hours for a train. This library, named after the vice president, was a reminder I was back in the free world. It was September 29th, 2 days before the Chinese Communist National Day. The British had brought out tanks and soldiers were marching to their posts in case of incidents. I drove around in a rickshaw. They were forbidden on the mainland. The girls in Peking were nothing like this. The sky itself seemed brighter, lighter, freer. Down on the bay were the many sounds of a big port. Creaking of Chinese sailing craft. The big boat whistles. My own was among them. And I stood at the rail and watched Hong Kong's white buildings against its steep green slopes and thought about China's leap forward.